you people. I believe it's time for me to try to serve again in a different capacity, and I'm asking for your support in November. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to talk to you afterwards. And thank you again for your time, and it was a great experience being here today. Thank you.
Again, thank you very much for having us. As I said in my questionnaire, I really think the Tea Party has brought something to American politics that has been missing for a long time, and that's philosophy of a limited constitutional government and individual rights and the free market. So thank you. I do think after listening to Warner tonight, I think he's more Republican than I thought he was. So that's a good thing, Warner. But I would like to say that the Lake County Prosecutor's Office is a great office. It works hard. As I told you earlier, you can read about it in the news media or see it in the news media every day. You can see our successes. I wish I could bring all of the assistant prosecutors in here, the secretary of staff, the investigators, the crime lab scientists, and have you see them and just realize how hard they work for you to solve crime, to do justice every day. It's a great office. I'm very proud of each and every one of them. It's an office you could be proud of, and I would be very happy and very proud if you would return me as the Lake County Prosecuting Attorney for another 4 years. Thank you very much.
I'd like to thank Mr. Barthel and Mr. Paulson for participating tonight, and if you would give them one round of applause. I believe they'll be available afterward if anybody has any questions for them. You're gonna be...
Yes, sir.
Okay. Afterward, out in the foyer area there, and we'll excuse you now at this time. And we have just about, if you would bear with us for about 5 more minutes as we close up our meeting tonight. Greg Sesse has an announcement, and then I'll have some closing remarks.
It is, of course, 9/11, and I have a very kind of a personal family story to tell about it. I was just in New York City for the wedding of my sister, and her husband, he's a lawyer. His law office was 3 blocks from the World Trade Center, and he was one of the first responders when the buildings collapsed. He has a lot of stories to tell about it. They're heartrending. He couldn't speak about it for years. He represents the first responders who have contracted various kinds of cancer as a result of their exposure to asbestos and carcinogens and whatnot. He's doing it pro bono, free. Yesterday there was a decision coming out by a judge saying that cancer would be compensated for the first responders. He has a number of firefighters who are very young men who have contracted cancer. They have children, wives. The bad news is that they feel that there's only going to be about $10,000 per person. So it's a kind of a true life American story of someone doing the right thing for a lot of other people who are doing the right thing and courageously. And somehow the government can waste billions, but when the money's really needed, there's not much of it there. But at any rate, I wanted to tell you that because I was just out there talking to him the other day. Thank you.
Thank you, Greg. Okay, we have just some announcements. First of all, are there any other current office holders in the audience or other candidates that have not already been recognized tonight? If you would please stand. Okay. Sometimes I forget to do it and they're here. When I remember, then they're not. So, okay. Next meeting. We've put out in some flyers incorrectly that it was October 9th. Our next meeting is actually October 16th. There was a conflict with the second Tuesday, which is our normal. So October 16th, we we had hoped to be able to get Josh Mandel here, and we had invited Sherrod Brown. Sherrod Brown his office has not responded to my invitation. Sometimes it doesn't respond to my email either, but be that as it may. So we're not sure who's going to be here yet. We'll get that information out. Please fill out the straw poll ballots and turn them to a table outside there. Okay, or take them as you leave there. That would be very helpful to us. And as Greg mentioned, those firefighters and policemen who went up into those Twin Towers on September 11th, 2001, those were heroes. Those were very brave men who faced danger and potential death as they went to try to rescue those people in those buildings. They had a cause. They wanted to do that rescue. Our challenge today is not to go into a burning building. Our challenge is not to try to rescue people from a burning building, but our challenge today is to rescue our country from the direction in which it's headed. And I think that there's general consensus among those who are paying attention that where we're headed is not a good place. So one of the things that we're doing as a Tea Party is providing these opportunities, these forums for you to get to hear candidates on both sides, and so you can make an informed decision on which candidate you want to vote for. I think, especially in the first half of the presentation, there was a clear differentiation on approaches on how our problems would be solved. It's up to you to decide. The second case, there was, as Mr. Colson indicated, his opponent seemed to be a little bit more Republican than he thought. So, which is okay. It's my preference to have candidates who would both be conservative. That makes it a tougher choice perhaps, but either way you win. So, why am I saying that? We have an election, November 6th. Lake County is the swing county in the swing state that might decide this presidential election. We have a choice of either sitting on the sideline and watching how things go, or we can get involved. And what I have to offer is we are, as a Tea Party PAC, we are getting our endorsement flyers out in the community, going door to door, and leaving those endorsement flyers at the doors of homes where registered voters live. Not everybody is as interested as you are to see and hear the candidates. If everybody was that interested, we wouldn't be able to fit everybody in this room. But that's not the case. So we need to get that information out to them. We've been going door to door for the last several Saturdays, 3 or 4 now. We're going to continue to do that. We'll get that information out by email and phone calls. If you're interested in helping out with that, looking for an hour to an hour and a half on a Saturday morning to help out. If you aren't able to do that, if you can stuff plastic bags with information, we have bag stuffing parties. And those for a couple hours on typically on a Thursday morning. Again, we'll get that information out. We greatly appreciate your help with that. So again, there are other opportunities to help. We'll put that out in email. I don't want to belabor that point this evening. But again, please fill out your straw poll ballots and turn those in as you depart. And thank you so much for your kind attention this evening.